Herm Edwards, former head coach, college in the NFL. He appears on the new football-themed show Monday Blitz at 3 Eastern on the Mothership, as well as SportsCenter and ESPN Radio as well. Good morning, Herm. Let me start there. Who's to blame for this mess in Chicago?
Oh, boy. You can kind of spread it around, I think, when you look at this football team play. They're still in the mode of trying to rebuild, obviously, their offensive line. Defensively, they've struggled the last couple of years. Have a quarterback that's unique in the sense that he's basically, I hate to say this in pro football now, we have RPO quarterbacks. And what you do with them, the style of offense you run with them is very important. I think he made light of it in his press conference. I think he walked some things back, but basically, this is what happens in pro football a lot. Coaches come in with systems, and their system is bigger than the player. Well, if you want to be a successful coach, you have to massage your system around the player's skill set.
Yeah, but it feels like we've seen coaches adapt to that they know, yes, I'm not going to ask you to be different. If I'm coaching right, Cam Newton, I got to let Cam Newton be Cam Newton or Michael Vick or Patrick Mahomes. And this situation's interesting because usually that third year, you see the quarterback start to make that, progression. Like all of a sudden you go, okay, you going to make that jump or are you not going to make that jump? But I'm wondering, how would you coach Justin Fields?
Well, obviously I'm going to allow him to use his legs. That's going to be part of the passing game. They tried to do it a little bit last year. And I think what they were worried about, he ran so much. He ran for over 1,100 yards. I mean, as a quarterback, that's, those are numbers like you scratch your head at. I think our vision of him would be similar to Jalen Hurts, what he's been able to do as a quarterback, still has the ability to run, can throw the ball. He's more comfortable in the pocket now. And that's the case when you watch Justin Fields. I mean, last week you watched him, he's almost like a statue in the pocket. Decision-making, when to get the ball out. He struggles with that. Sometimes quarterbacks, their timing, their rhythm, you got to get them going early in the game. And those are the things that I think going into this week you'll see from Chicago Bears.
Yeah, but now you got Kansas City.
Boy.
You can't beat Green Bay, you can't beat Tampa Bay, and now all of a sudden you got the Chiefs who are fully assembled with Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. And is he just going to go, all right, I'm going back to the way I did last year. I'm just going to run and try to create something here and not stay in the pocket?
I think you'll see more of that this week. He'll leave, obviously, when he feels he can move the chains. And I think for quarterbacks like this, and you know this, Dan, you watched football a long time as well. You got to get them started, early in this game. They've got to see some completions to get them confident. That's any quarterback. And I think how you design that is very important. His mechanisms, generally you dial up a play and there's always a check down. His check down is his legs. Okay, if it's not open, you know what? Take off, man. Go ahead. And that's what we did with Jaden Daniels his freshman year when he played for us at Arizona State. It was like the check down is your legs, man. If it's not there, go ahead and go.
Well, you can do that in college. I think Justin Fields is trying to out-athlete defenses, and you can't do that. In college, you can do that. At Ohio State, you can do that. You can't do that. It's not sustainable there. I think that's what would concern me if I'm the Bears. You passed up on Bryce Young. You traded that number one pick. Here's your guy, and at some point you're going to have to extend him, or you have to move on from him.
This will be a big year for them. This season, how he finishes, and if he continues to develop. They'll be fine. If not, that's the question they're going to have to ask themselves.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're Caleb Williams and you're going, I could go to the Bears or I could go to the Cardinals.
Yeah, and and these quarterbacks have to realize, you get picked number one, you're probably going to go to a team, that didn't win a lot of games, and that's, you can dodge it and say, well, I'm going to stay another year. A lot of these guys can because of the money they can get for the name, image, and likeness. They stay in college longer. That's maybe the good thing about college football. Guys can stay in a little longer if they choose to, right?
Or he could pull an Eli Manning and just say, "Look, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to your organization."
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
We're talking to Herm Edwards, the former player, coach, college and the NFL. How do you explain what Deion has done, and can it be replicated around the country?
There's only one Deion Sanders. There's no doubt about that. Deion's a good friend. I'm enjoying it like everyone else. He's brought national attention to his program, along with a team that is very exciting, right? He's got some really good players. It's a shame about the kid Hunter. I thought, the way he was playing, if he continued at this pace, he's got to be talked about as a Heisman guy. Who does that? Who plays 160 plays in a football game? I mean, I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete, but he's brought national attention, Deion. No matter if you're a Colorado Buffalo fan or not, you want to see these guys play. I mean, it's funny. And his son is a tremendous player now. I mean, boy, he can play quarterback now. And so it's something that's unique. I don't think you can replicate it because there's only one Deion Sanders. Now, what you can replicate is this. He understands the portal. He understands there's free agency in college football now, how you build your team. You're going to have to kind of go outside the walls. There's free agency. You have the ability to bring players in.
Could you see Deion coaching in the NFL one day?
That would be interesting. I think his aspirations might be to do that later on. It would be very interesting to see.
But what's the biggest difference with that, Herm?
Well, his persona, how he's going about getting these young guys excited, and all the rah-rah that's in college football. Pro football, and Deion knows this. He was a great player, Hall of Famer. Maybe he's the best corner to ever played a game, in my opinion. How you handle that with NFL players? You're going to have an old group of guys. You're going to have some young group of guys that can buy into what he's doing. Yeah. The old group of guys are just, hey, look, man, I don't want to hear all that, right? So, but I think he's smart enough to know if he gets to that level, he'll handle it. He'll be able to handle it.
And I didn't think this would be their year. I thought it would be next year. And now they go to Oregon. They got USC.
Right.
How sustainable do you think this is for Deion?
Well, I think this. I think Oregon will be a really good game for them to see where they're at. SC, I believe this. I don't see SC's defense. I don't know if it's improved that much. Yeah. So you can score. And it could be a scoring game against SC, right? I mean, that's how you look at it. And SC, it makes no bones. I mean, with that quarterback, you could score as many as you want, right? And that offense they have, boy, that's fun to watch too. I mean, you won't be able to sit down. I mean, if you go get a snack, somebody might score a touchdown time. You leave and come back, right? But this will be an interesting 2 weeks for him.
Where do you put Micah Parsons now as great defenders?
Oh, boy.
Not just in the game now, but is he starting to slip into a different category?
That's the talk. I won't say he has taken the throne away from 56 that played for the Giants. You know who that is. I was just with him about a month ago.
But you saw LT, a young LT.
Oh, he was my era.
Yeah. Yeah.
We played against each other. And
how would you describe that?
He wrecked the game, but he physically could wreck the game too. That's the difference. I see LT was, and it's because he's bigger. He was a big man that could run and could just, elude, but he was physical. I mean, he could physically dominate you. It was a scary physicalness with LT. And so Micah Parsons is unbelievable, though. I mean, his ability, 60% of the time, he beats one-on-one. The average in the National Football League is 17%. He's winning at a 60% rate. That's unheard of. I mean, the whole league is at 17. He's at 60. I don't know. I'd figure out where number 11's at. I'd send 2 guys at him for sure.
Well, remember Joe Gibbs did that with LT. He'd make sure that you kept the tight end and had Joe Jacoby there. Because if not, then you got trouble in the backfield.
No doubt. But the problem now in football, and college is really taking over in the NFL too. You don't see 2 tight ends hardly anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you don't see 2 running backs. I mean, you see 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers, 1 back. I mean, that's what you see. They spread you out. Because if not, the receivers are getting mad, right? You got to deal with these receivers that want the ball every other play. They're 7-11. They're always open. That's what they tell you on the sideline. Hey, man, coach, I'm open, man. Okay, we'll get you the ball. We get it, right?
I was talking about Dan Marino yesterday. I think at the end of your career, you faced Marino.
Oh, I played against him. Yes, I played against Dan.
I keep saying if I could play the position, I would want to play the way he played the position, because he was ahead of his time. What he did, 5 wide, empty backfield, and that's what you have in college, high school, and now some of the NFL teams.
Well, look, Mark, Duper, Clayton,
Nat Moore.
They had them all. I had to cover them. I was trying to cover those guys. He's unbelievable at quarterback. Maybe he's in the top 3 quarterbacks to ever play, in my opinion. Way he got the ball out, his accuracy, his arm talent. I mean, it was just, I remember when he came in the league, I said, who is it? We, watched him in college, and all of a sudden you're playing against, and then all of a sudden you got Duper, you got Clayton, you got Nat Moore. I mean, it's like, oh boy, who are these guys, right? We had to play them. And we had a great defense in Philadelphia. Yeah. But they gave us, they made us work. Jimmy Cephalo was in the slot too. Don't forget about Jimmy Cephalo.
Penn State, Jimmy Cephalo. Yeah.
They had a good crew.
How you doing? You doing all right?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah. Traveling on the weekends, obviously leaving, going back to the mothership, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And, in there on Sundays, Mondays, and a little bit Tuesday and come home. So but I'm good. My girls are growing up. I got one that's a senior now. Looking at colleges. She's a journalist major, so she's in a couple of spots. She's
tell her to get into another field than that.
It's too late. It's too late.
I was watching the video of when you walked off the field when you were told that you got fired. Like we're talking about those like Lane Kiffin getting fired on the tarmac there. I mean, what goes through your mind? And somebody is filming this when you're walking on.
Yeah, but
do you have any idea that was happening?
Well, no, and that was more. That wasn't. That's not that statement. And people said that. He talked about I got fired. No. Okay. No, that wasn't it at all. We always meet there. We always talk. AD and the president. And no, that it wasn't. That didn't happen like people make it to be.
Well, see, you can tell your daughter how the media takes stories, and then they
it's okay. I was part of the media. I get it.
But imagine if you're Lane Kiffin, where they don't let you get on the bus, Coach, and after a loss.
Yeah, and I'm happy for Lane. Lane was with us in Tampa when he was a young kid. He was the ball boy when we were down in Tampa Bay. Monty was his father. Monty was the coordinator. I was the assistant head coach. Lovey was the linebacker coach. Rod Marinelli was the D-line coach. We had a crew of really good coaches. And then when I left to go to New York, Tomlin took my spot. So Lane was on the sideline as a young kid growing up. I remember Lane when he was, in high school. So
did you think at any point that guy would be a head coach?
You wondered because when you just watching him grow up, Nathaniel Hackett was the ball boy up in New York with me, with Paul. Paul. I mean, Paul was. He was, listen to this now, that's how far we go back. I mean, when I went to Cal as a freshman, Paul Hackett was the GA.
Grad assistant.
Yes, at Cal Berkeley. That's how far I go back with Paul. And then when I wanted to run the West Coast offense in New York, I hired Paul, because he was with Walsh and all those guys, to run my offense with Chad Pennington, right? And Nathaniel and my son were playing, they were like the ball boys. Boy, you stay in this league long enough, boy, you see it.
And John Gruden was a ball boy at Notre Dame.
Yeah. Unbelievable how it works.
Good to talk to you. I guess that's the thing is you got to start out as a ball boy. That's how you become a head coach in the NFL.
And you this, Dan. Just kind of hang around, and all of a sudden, things happen, and
Good to talk to you. Thank you, buddy.
Always, my friend. Thank you.
That's Herm Edwards. You can see him on the Mothership, new football-themed show, Monday Blitz, 3 Eastern on ESPN. Also appearances on Get Up and SportsCenter.